Now, how do we build Aanvikshiki? What is the method?
Simple practice. 1 hour a day. Just do nothing but think.
Directionally, what?
So a lot of people, I train them in Aanvikshiki. So baby steps, say 1 hour of a day is thinking time. Like you have time for eating food, you have time for meetings, time for podcasts. Can you block that? It's very difficult.
No, impossible because constantly phones are there.
That's why I'm saying 1 hour a day. Okay, start with half an hour a day. Now the problem is that thinking, people again look at it as an activity.
It is.
It is not. I'll tell you a small, story that I read. A lot of people actually get to the idea that, we have to do things to be productive.
Yeah.
No. Undoing is the most productive thing.
Wow.
And especially in academic world, I feel a lot of people who are so well read, but they're not thinkers. The information gatherers.
Yeah.
Just because you are well connected to the world through social media doesn't make you intelligent socially. So I'll tell you this book, very famous book, Song of the Bird, Anthony de Mello. For those people not aware of it, a very nice story, anecdote. So there's this young monk, very well read, like scholar, and he becomes a monk, and there's a senior monk, and lot of politicians would come and take advice from him.
Yeah.
Because you talk about any subject in the world, Radhakrishnan Pillai can talk. Okay, so they said okay, and then like the prime minister or whatever comes and says you should be on an advisory board, young boy, lot of ideas and all this. But the prime minister has got good advisors. So बोले पहले ये तो young है, उनके गुरु से पूछ लो. Because all that in the podcast you see is very popular because of his intelligence. He's been academically brilliant. You talk about any topic,
he will have information. Yeah.
So let's do one thing before we take him on a boat to advise how about the country's future. So they go and meet his guru.
Okay.
Senior monk. So we are planning to take him on our board for advising us because he's like a polymath. Kuch bhi baat karo, he's got some solution for it.
Correct.
And we require such talented brains in the country. So what is your advice? So that young fellow. Do you think he's intelligent and all that? Every time I see him actually reading a lot of books, I wonder whether he's got time to think. He's got information on everything on the world. Every time I see him, he's reading. So informed, so analytical.
Correct.
But I wonder whether he's got time to think. So the guru is indirectly telling he may not be the right thinker for you. He may be very well informed for you. The Aanvikshiki starts with non-thinking. That doesn't make you non-thinker.
It declutters you.
And it empties you.
Empties the
See, I'm a big fan of social media. But I'm not an addict to social media.
There's a difference.
So what I'm saying, use social media, but don't get used by social media. Can you keep that mobile away for 1 hour? 1 hour? Start with half an hour? FOMO.
Yeah.
Now the thing is that being well informed doesn't mean you're a thinker. Being analytical doesn't mean you're smart.
Correct.
Some of the greatest analytical people actually have the problem of overthinking. There's a saying, that analysis gives you to paralysis.
Yeah, because they are unable to make decisions. They get stuck.
That's where you have to say, okay, can I empty everything? So when I'm having a cup of coffee, it's already full. That's where, emptying the mind is a very tough project.
So half an hour you're saying, you just have to sit.
Do nothing. Do nothing. But that's not easy. Better said than done. It takes years of practice to have 1 minute of non-thinking.
Yeah. And you're saying half an hour is like too much.
Like it's a torture.
For me, if I have to do this, then I am training myself to be in a meditative state. I do everything from, good, or I am in the nature.
Right.
So I'm focusing my mind on listening to something and then trying to...
Again, you're confusing it. Listening is also a tool.
It's a tool.
So
I'm doing something.
Meditation music. Actually speaking, meditation doesn't have music.
Exactly.
But it's better than, clutter. So you start with some soft music, listen to flute. But is it thinking?
No.
It's calming your mind.
Yes.
Please understand the Sanskrit literature. There's a clear difference between mana and buddhi. And the state of ultimate realization is beyond mana and buddhi. So initially your emotions have to calm down, take a deep breath. That's for the mind.
Which is basics of meditation.
It's like hygiene factor.
Hygiene.
But what about intelligence? The most intelligent people actually can be the most dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to go beyond intelligence to understand maturity.
How do we go to step 2? what you're saying?
That's where, we have to come and understand we require a lot of good mentors in this process. I give you a simple example which most of the people in India would do. Let us look at Guru Sishya Parampara. So many of them are there. Swami Vivekananda, graduate of that generation from Kolkata University, the British capital. Who was his guru?
Ramakrishna.
And what is his qualification?
Never thought.
Don't even know.
Yeah.
They even went to school or college.
Yeah.
Now think about it. Who is more wiser? World traveled, globally known world leader, my dear sister. And his guru is just a simple guy. That's maturity. To understand that my best intelligence may not work somewhere. But that's a saying. What is actually maturity? Where all logic fails and you still have faith. That's maturity.
So beautifully put. So how do we decode the how? I'm still looking for an answer.
Because you're looking at an actionable.
Yes, very selfishly you know what I'm thinking? After this podcast we are done, I want to do that. What should I do?
So the thing is that first to understand philosophically and then put it as a habit or a ritual. Philosophically, the greatest men or women in the world,
Yeah.
the most respected, there are two categories. Number one is the professors. They are in the universities, people like us, writers, thinkers. They are also role models. So they bring in a new thought, new perspective. They can invent something.
Yeah.
The Newtons, the Darwins. So, they are also respected. So if you go to the European nations, Western developed country, the professors is a big status.
Yeah.
In India, along with the professors, which we call as acharyas, there's one more category called mahatmas. And not necessarily they're highly qualified or teaching in a university, but they have wisdom to understand what is right and wrong. And that's a commitment. My father used to tell me 3 people change the world forever, but nobody will recognize them. Very few. First is, number one, a person who is sitting in a library and reading books.
Correct.
He or she may bring out a thought. Second one is a scientist sitting in a laboratory. Right? Because he's inventing something. Okay. But the third one, a monk in a cave meditating. You think, oh, useless guy, baitha hai, sab chhod ke. But he is actually thinking about the biggest problems. So I think what we require to understand every culture of the world, not only in Indian culture, there are these people who understood self-realization, enlightenment. Those people bring in perspective, and you say, again, our problem is we go to them for miracles and blessings.
Yeah.
Don't go. It will happen.